Hello, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Anthony.
I'm Angel. Oh,
And,
I'm Knight.
yeah.
I guess, we'll introduce our two guests today, Ben Holstead and Angel Quintanilla.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean co-hosts?
Co-hosts, yes, co-hosts. Yeah, Knight got kicked off already.
Yeah, poor guy. Always getting in trouble with YouTube's legal team.
He got in trouble last time for anti-Semitism and just bigotry.
He's just a real bad guy.
Yeah, I don't even know why he was my co-host last week. Sorry about that.
Honestly, this is already a much better podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, the idea is that if we can make this podcast go for more runtime, then that means we've already been on this podcast longer than Knight. So
Yeah.
that gives us authority.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with recently watched, but today's a special one where we just got out of the theater and we saw a special movie, Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. And what did you guys think?
I thought the movie was excellent and very entertaining.
Yeah, a lot of the same. It wasn't what I was expecting, actually. I haven't seen much of this movie. I don't watch a lot of trailers and stuff like that. But I was pleasantly surprised. I liked it just in general.
Me too. I've heard a lot about it actually, and so my expectations were pretty high. And it's very rarely that you go to a movie and your expectations are high and it meets them, but also exceeds them. It is really cool in a lot of sort of ways, especially visually.
The visuals were great. It was like they took the comic sort of art style and put it into a movie.
Yeah, I think their art direction and their use of shading really made it so when they had these like 2D animations and graphics like smoke or these comic effects, it really seemed like a seamless transition.
Yeah, and not only that, but I was noticing especially with specifically the different characters, they would all have a certain animation style, and I think that's really impressive. I don't know if you guys know about animation, but fitting that all together and compositing it so that they're working together, but still have their individual sort of look and all that, I thought was really impressive. Also, just story wise as well, it was entertaining. It was fun, had a good message.
Yeah, it was a nice surprise finding out Doc Ock was a girl in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
Without it seeming like it was pushing some sort of agenda, it was a nice surprise overall.
There was actually a joke about that when he was talking about the infiltration, and he thought that the head scientist was the male, but then it was the female, and I had to think about the social thing. I thought that was funny.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of references actually.
Yeah.
I think two of my favorites were in the beginning, the Spider-Man 3 dance.
Oh yeah.
Which was awesome. And then when he was first teaching Miles how to swing, I don't know if you guys ever played the Spider-Man game on PS2 or whatever, but the double tap thing for the web.
Oh yeah,
that was from the game.
I actually didn't catch that. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
I did have some nitpicks about the movie. I thought what they chose to put out of focus kind of detracted a bit.
What do you mean?
Sometimes in one shot, it would show it being closing in on a building with straight text on it, and for some reason it'd just be out of focus. And I was like, I was like, why?
There were points where I thought, should I be wearing 3D glasses for this?
Yeah, especially
the overlay, the purple, almost 3D.
Yeah. I was gonna say, the way they had they did their out of focus thing, was the overlay.
Yeah.
It took a while to get used to it.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess the opening sequence at the beginning with the flashing and all that felt sort of preparing you for the movie. That was the most disorienting for me.
You see some frame rate stuff in the very beginning with the Spider-Man dance. I thought that was kind of choppy.
I think it's just,
but I think it's just
the style.
Yeah, I did really like that shot where after he gets bitten by the spider, where it's the shot is from the dead body of the spider to his face.
Yes,
that was a really nice one.
Yeah,
and I think the art style really complements it. Like I said, even though it's using 2D stocks, well, not stock images, but 2D assets, but against that 3D background, it really doesn't feel like it's a conflicting style against the two.
Like you were talking about before, Ben, just the way they integrated a lot of comic things too with the panels and especially the text bubbles, I thought that was fun, and especially his inner monologue was funny. I guess just to close off, favorite thing about the movie, favorite character, a little thing, or
I actually kind of like the divorced Spider-Man.
that was my favorite character actually.
Okay, are you talking about the actual
40-year-old
divorce one? Or
I
the
thought
40-year-old.
I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
I thought the noir one was actually quite charming.
Oh well, yes, you got to talk about my boy Nick Cage.
Nick
My-
Cage.
Yeah, that guy.
But yeah, you hit it on the nose with the 40-year-old Spider-Man. I just thought hilarious.
Yeah, I just like it so I can make more jokes she left me. She left me.
stupid idiot left me.
I can't believe it. She took the kids.
No, he didn't want kids.
Yeah, I
remember?
know.
Stupid idiot didn't wanted
Yeah,
kids.
I just like seeing how it went different in the different Spider-Verses. And you know the whole great thing about this Spider-Verse thing they're putting forward is that it entirely justifies all these Chinese knockoff Spider-Man toys.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you look at some, they're like, what is this? Spider-Man never did that. And then you're like, well, according to this movie, they're infinite Spider-Verses, so why not?
His name is Miguel in one of them.
So overall, I think we'd all recommend it, and we'll move on to our normal recently watched. And is there anything else you guys want to talk about, movie-wise or TVs that you've seen recently?
Not on my mind currently.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't watch a lot of movies, honestly. So I
Yes.
don't know what I'm doing on this podcast. I'm probably not a very suitable co-host, but, you know.
But we're still better than
I'm
like
here to
this.
stay. so to
Yeah,
say.
but Knight's not here. Well, I'll talk about. Well, last week was finals, and so we had the episode was finals, and we just had our finals. So yeah, we were probably a little tired and busy. But I did get to catch Fight Club the other day, and I don't know if you the David Fincher movie, Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
Edward Norton, and breaking the first and second rule. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. The only thing about it though, well, it's very much rooted in this idea of anarchism and the irony in that, but it still holds up pretty well. And maybe we'll revisit it if you guys ever seen it or something like that. But I recommend it.
Oh yeah. Maybe we should talk about the films we watched from the last time we hung out. What
Whenever, yeah, if you want.
Was, yeah. What was it about?
Sorry to bother you.
Sorry.
Oh, that was a good one. I love that.
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of similarities between Sorry to Bother You and Fight Club, actually. Its messages is about socioeconomic status and all that, and I thought that was pretty interesting. But if you were to put both against each other, I think I'd prefer Sorry to Bother You. It's equally as funny as it is thought-provoking, I thought.
Yeah, I think that's a big challenge between if you want to get like a point across, but you also don't want it to beat across your audience's head, and you forget to be funny. It's just kind of like a big sign of the same joke,
Yeah.
like with a message, but you just lose whatever's funny.
Like a
alongside it.
badly constructed metaphor.
Yeah.
But on Sorry to Bother You, I think one of the most just things to applaud the movie for was you're like an hour and 20 minutes into it, and then it hits you with the biggest twist of it all,
Yeah.
like the Equisapiens,
It
the
was
horse
all
people.
over the place. Like I was, the bathroom scene. I wasn't sure to whether to laugh or scream when that horse dude flopped out. And,
Well, Ben definitely danced at that one song rap scene.
oh my gosh!
And if you watch, the
Yeah,
movie-
really broke it down at the his rap. You know, that rap really said a lot about our society and modern music in general, and I think we can all relate quite.
I think we could all just have a laugh at the good things.
There's a lot of things underneath it, specifically with that rap scene. I think that's talking more about the obscenity and how our obsession with rap music and how it, for suburban kids like us or people like that, that's how we live vicariously through that sort of violent or not violent but graphic music. But it's interesting, and like Angel had said, they do it in a funny way that doesn't tell you in a boring way like I just did.
How do you think Spider-Man serves as a comedy movie? Do you think it was like it did like equal parts like action and comedy, or just like
I do. Most of the jokes it hit for me.
yeah, it did pretty well.
I thought it was a good mix.
Well, on the creative team on that, I don't know if you guys know the two directors, Chris Miller and Phil Lord. They did the Lego movie, the first one, and 21 Jump Street. And they were writers on this movie, not directors, but I love all their stuff, and we should watch 21 Jump Street sometime. They're really funny, and I really like that. But comedy and action, yeah, worked for me.
Yeah, it's a nice synergy between the two, especially with like Peter Parker's like constant like attitude, or and it's not really an attitude, but it's always just like cynicism towards whatever situation he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I like the thing when Miles first got his powers, how he just caught a puberty and
oh yeah,
his thing about that. I thought that was funny.
That was a bizarre twist. What we found out about the girl, though.
Oh, Gwen?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bizarre. I was like, she'll definitely come back because like now that you're in the meat of all this stupid Spider-Verse stuff, what other reason does she have to be coming back in this story?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you at the end?
Yeah, and I thought the uncle being the bad guy was kind of predictable when he was at his house. I'm like, I mean, at that point, like it's kind of like a reveal already if he's at his house.
Yeah, there's obviously tropes with the superhero movie and all that and the conflict, but I guess yeah, what you're talking about, like emotionally wise, it was okay right there.
Yeah. your uncle dead. Your uncle dead. I have no idea why his dad was in the fucking in the generator room at the end.
Oh yeah, I didn't get that part. He was just watching.
I was like, where's he there?
Yeah, Knight and I were actually talking about like he hated that part.
He's like, please open up, and he's like, okay, I guess we'll just watch it on here.
He should have done it like miles earlier and just put out his phone.
Yeah. No, this is epic. Yeah.
I think the only thing that would have made it worse was if he actually was in danger, and that would have been an actual cliche. I would have rolled my eyes, but at least he wasn't actually in danger.
Just randomly, like, his dad's hanging on, like, a ledge.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
help me, Spider-Man. In the middle
It's
of,
like
a generator vortex who has no reason to be there.
Yeah.
Bro, help me.
Just for no reason at all. He wasn't introduced in the scene or anything. Just like the camera pans over and he's hanging from some bar off the ceiling.
I thought a Kingpin looked kind of ridiculous. Every time.
I loved that so
It
much.
was so-
It was like such the mob boss stereotype looking.
Yeah. Yeah, and his voice too. I don't know if you guys have seen the Netflix Daredevil show, but
Same guy, right?
No, it's Kingpin, the villain. It's a different actor and all that, but I guess I just still had that fresh in my mind, and it messed with my perception, I guess.
I just like the scene where it had like his portraits of his family,
Yeah.
and like he got rounder and his head got more in the center. I thought that looked so funny, and I wasn't sure whether it was like intentional. I mean, they had to know it was funny.
Yeah.
Dumb looking.
It's like it's I like I said earlier, it's like they were desensitized to it. It just caught me off guard. It's like at first they'd seen his body shape too often, and they're like, no, this guy is weak. We need to make him more mob bossy. And then just throughout the production, they're like, no, more. They just kept doing the same.
Yeah, they got like a regular human body, and they just like got a Minecraft silhouette.
Oh yeah, it reminds me of that Kanye
Oh, yeah.
video.
Oh my!
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
that's
actually
just
does
special. You know what? You know what they say about silhouettes, though. That would be a good example of that, how you can sort of tell that guy's character just by his body shape.
Yeah.
And he's easily identifiable. I remember at the end where we saw like his shadow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ben really disliked the anime one. The anime Spider-Man. Ben was like, "Oh, this movie sucks."
and
Yeah,
then
like
our
a suit-
friends on the other side that we saw with were going crazy for it.
Yeah, me was like, "This is my girlfriend."
Yeah, immediately when I saw it, I was like, that's it. I'm walking out.
I also like the Peter Porker, the pig one.
Peter Porker,
yeah.
that guy.
It's funny.
I didn't mind as much Perry Parker? Was that the one?
Penny.
Penny Parker? I didn't mind as
That was
much.
the anime girl?
Yeah.
I didn't mind as much as Ben did. I didn't mind at all, actually. I thought it was actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know the spider was controlling the thing until like...
Yeah, though they said it really quick in their origin thing when they were doing 3 at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
I thought Aunt May was pretty cool in here too, actually.
Aunt May is really different. She has like, I don't know how to describe it, but she's like...
some spunk.
she has some sass to her.
Yeah.
Can you take this outside? Like, take this fight outside.
And then they fought in the house anyway. I was rather saddened at that part. It hit me emotionally.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to add or
No, I think it's enough about
No,
Spider-Man.
yeah, thanks for tuning into the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll get into our main topic today, which I don't know. This is kind of impromptu. We're sorry to put you behind the curtain, listeners, but Night didn't come, and then we're pre-recording some episodes for the few weeks. So, what do you guys want to talk about, just in general? Music.
Just
New Year's.
I did like some of the music, some of the scoring in the Spider-Man. I like the French horn parts.
There was a lot of cool horn parts.
Yeah.
I'm Anthony talking. I'm a French horn player, and I really, really dug the French horn parts in there.
Yeah, it was really nice. The octave jumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really high ones too.
Yeah, jeez. Let's talk about finals week, guys.
Oh, finals, how'd it go for you guys?
Overall, really easy.
Yeah, I'd agree.
The biggest stress for me was just the project for government, which you didn't. If you didn't know, you had the option to either the volunteer for like 5 hours and write a 2-page report, and was that it?
And a 1-page profile.
Profile. Oh yeah, and then the other option, which I ended up doing just because of I don't know, I just felt like doing it,
Mhm.
was the 4-page report. on these boring school board meetings, and it's so formal that it's actually just kind of gets the formalities kind of get mixed up, and you just kind of want to get straight to the point, but that pushes it to like 2 hours.
Yeah.
They say like agenda point 5.0.1, policy 1.001, changing policy.
Yeah, when I did the project, I did the other one where you had to just talk about an experience like volunteering and your ideas on the government and how campaigns are run. But I appreciate double spacing a lot.
Yeah, to say the very least, my favorite thing in the world is if you're writing, it's 4 pages I had to write, bare minimum. And so my favorite thing to do is I write like 2 and like 2 lines of a single space page, and then I just nut when I fucking press the 2.0 spacing.
Yeah.
And then it turns to like 4 pages.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Ben?
Finalists, what were we talking about there? Government? I kind of fell asleep there. Anyway, my exams are as expected. Honestly, I'd say, God, my schedule's so different from your guys' since my following year after sophomore year. But yeah, I'm taking it easy. The scariest was probably the first day exams. Weight training joke here. Psych. Originally I took that class because I figured it'd be easy, it's free. Everybody takes psych because they're good at it, right? And that's why they become psychology majors. Anyway, I was wrong. We had to type a. Did you really?
Yeah.
Wait, is it actually?
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Now?
I completely forgot about that.
I don't know. I think this guy we're talking about right now, he's a mess.
He's listening to this podcast.
Sure, he's our number 1 fan. Oh
no! Like the day after we publish this, nice subscriber count goes down by 1.
0 views.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, 2 views to 1 view because I watched this podcast, which I also hope to be. You want some more mango? This is the last.
Yeah, I'll take some.
I'll take some.
Yeah. Ben and Angel are as I'm speaking, drinking some mango juice or something, and.
Yeah, this is a really good podcast etiquette.
Yeah.
Knocked over the cups.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some ASMR. Anyways.
As I was saying. So anyway, the fate of my open 8th period lies within whether I bring up this 39% in psych. But I did well the first quarter, so I just had to have him average out to about a D. So it was all in the fate of the exam.
It was just
here's my initial plan. I was going to sleep all quarter and then turn all my missing work in on the last day as per usual. But Mr. Miller wasn't having that.
I slept on the last day, so that didn't help.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, I got a D on my exam. I finished it out with a 60.75 or something. I don't know. Either way, I get to keep my 8th period, so I don't care. All my other classes, freaking crossword puzzles.
Yeah.
I don't care, dude.
I have Mr. Miller, or what were you going to say?
My gov teacher, Miss Wagner, she was literally helping us.
Number 2 listener.
Down to 1.
She was actually writing answers on the board. She gave us this note page that had most of the answers for the exam on it, and I was like, okay, I'll take it. But yeah, they're easy basically. I didn't have too much talking. What do you want to say?
I have Mr. Miller as well, but for anatomy instead of psychology, and yeah, sometimes he can be a real pain in your butt. Well, for my exams, I pretty much dabbed on my entire class, and I turned it in, and then he just told him that I got the highest score out of all of them, and I didn't even study, so yeah, major nay right there. And yeah, exams for me are actually pretty easy. The only one I actually was worried about was government, and it wasn't the project, but the actual exam, because like I said, I don't study and some of those things.
Holy crap.
We have
sorry,
we have the news. Oh my gosh!
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got
the
have
the TV on and this car just exploded or something.
No, here's what it did. It ramped off of a divider and left Back to the Future flame trails behind it.
Yeah.
And then it completely did a flip into a tunnel and we couldn't see it anymore.
Anyways,
that's enough of that.
About government.
Honestly, I don't know. That class just the anti motivation for me. Like I have no interest at all in learning Gov anymore. Really.
I think government is I think it's interesting to learn about, but it's just annoying for Miss Marshall to teach it.
Yeah, like a lot of my classes, or at least school in general. In school, I'm grinding and I do all my work, so I don't have to work at home. But government's the actual one where you kind of have to do stuff outside of school.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not really down with that this
Yeah.
year.
I really don't want to do anything outside of school. I really don't like government, like the class.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like in class, all we do are worksheets or like her lectures. No one listens because there's no real comprehensible way to it. You know.
Funny story about lectures.
Go ahead.
When Ben's probably heard this as well, but Anthony knows all too well. One day we were talking about interest groups and packs, and because I was doing like her boatload of
Packets.
these big packets were like 6 pages a packet,
Yeah.
all double-sided, and you have to fill them out. I mean, there's a quiz on all of them, so it's kind of brainless. And I don't feel like I'm actually working on or learning anything. I'm just writing stuff down. And she calls my name, and she's like, what was the question? It was like, oh, what are grassroots level? What's grassroots level?
It was
from-
like defining grassroots like politics or
Oh
something.
yeah,
like that.
grassroots lobbying. And at least now I know.
Yeah.
But at the time, because I was just focusing on this completing work and not really taking in anything, I was writing down. I just gave her a really broad and general answer, and she said, "Okay." Now that's the kind of answer I'd give a 0 for. And the whole class looked at me with their glaring eyes, and a bead of sweat ran down my forehead and down my temple. And then she's like, "Don't laugh. Don't laugh." Remember?
Oh yeah. Yeah, but like the thing is, like usually the class is always rowdy and something's going on. But this one moment, Angel answered. She said that, and the class was just dead silent, just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, I looked at Anthony with like the biggest shock on my face, like, oh my god.
So yeah, in conclusion, Angel just got bullied by our gov teacher, and it wasn't cool. But I guess I'm part of the problem because I didn't even call safe voice after it happened.
Yeah. If you're a spectator, you're a bitch.
I guess in school in general, I'm just kind of lucky. That stuff usually doesn't happen to me, and I ace all my exams. But I don't know how long this luck will ride with me. But
Somehow it rides to your PhD, and you're just like, holy fuck.
Well, that was easy.
yeah.
This is the easiest thing I've done, oh my god.
It's Friday, and like we said, we just
Cool
got
on.
Yeah.
we got our exams. But what do you guys have planned for the break?
I'm just planning to lounge back. I feel like I should really grind on trumpet, because I feel like I've just had work to do. I've always been playing catch up, especially since I started working over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I always practice during the summer, but this time was different, and I just spent like weeks just not touching my instrument. And so I feel like I've always been doing catch up, and I guess now's the time to do it.
Nah, bro, we already made history Northwest.
Yeah.
We've reached the apex. There's no need to practice anymore.
Yeah, we're at the climax, and now we're in the end, reaching the end.
Or the pinnacle of Clark County.
But yeah, so Ben and Angel right here are trumpet players, and pretty good ones if I do say so myself.
I'm slightly gooder.
Yeah. As of December 1st, Ben is slightly gooder.
Yeah.
But what do you guys have to say about music, or how it is obviously affected our lives and how much time we spend with it?
I don't like it. I should have played sports.
I think music is probably like the best judge of character I can have in school, because if anyone really doesn't work hard, there's no better way to show it than if someone just like.
Yeah, I guess musicianship or just being a musician is there's a lot of tests of your own integrity. You know, so
Yeah.
you can't leave it out there.
If I dropped music, I'd be a friendless loser.
Well, yeah, I guess for all of us, in fact, basically our entire friend group and a lot of hours and hours, a lot of time spent just comes from music and band and in general. And I guess that's the coolest thing about it is it kind of gave us a sense of belonging and purpose,
Yeah.
at least in a minuscule sort of sense.
Yeah. And even though there are discrepancies between what we believe in and an ensemble setting, I think it's all just like one big bull.
Mm-hmm. And I like what you said about the integrity thing, Angel. Yeah, music. I guess that's what I could say. It's taught me a lot of just owning up to things.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's no better way to judge yourself than if you're worried about how everyone else is judging you at the same time, and you barely come to close terms with yourself.
You good? What was that?
I don't know. A YouTube video was just turned on.
Speaking of which, you want to play that burp? They'll get copyright taken down by Badlands Chugs himself.
Taking the world.
He's like, yo,
one bottle at a time.
chugging the world.
One
bottle at a time.
But like I was saying,
Honestly, chugging is a good skill. I think I had hurt my epiglottis a little bit the other day trying to do it.
and now Ben's scarred for life.
I
and
have
can't
a
pursue his
few ounces of water in my lungs at the moment. I assume that goes away with time, so I'm just gonna call it.
dreams. Yeah, I just remember being super stressed out all the time in freshman year with Mr. Case. Remember the scale and
We had tests every week. Skills tests in that book, little A2 things or whatever.
Mr. Case really shaped you guys up, didn't he?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I would be as good without the sort of environment he put us in, you know?
Yeah,
I didn't have that. I just bulled with Raymond Lau and
Yeah.
Jesse Horn, but I was with Newman.
Oh, yeah, Newman.
Yeah,
I
that was
forgot about that guy.
Yeah, he really was weird. He was really tall.
He was just big.
Yeah.
Reminded me of
He's a
Aquaman.
big dude.
Kind of. But, I really don't have anything to say. I think I'm
Might
done
be a
with my
kingpin.
yeah, he actually does kind of look like Kingpin.
Put Kingpin in a banana suit. That's Newman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you guys see the Allstate repertoire?
Oh, what's it?
I forgot the other two songs, but they're doing Firebird Suite, which has
Jesus.
which has a cool horn solo at least.
The last part? Or like...
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the finale, but I don't know.
I hope so. Firebird Suite's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
The whole fucking movie, the whole fucking suite.
my freshman year, we actually played the finale in orchestra. That was cool. Russell, one of my mentors, he nailed it. But yeah, I guess music's cool. What do you got planned, Ben?
For what? Just music?
For the break,
Oh, the break?
or whatever you want to talk about.
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna stay home this year. It's kind of anticlimactic because we usually do something like every year. We travel somewhere, have the family over something. This break, we're just staying home. I don't know what we're gonna do, honestly. Man, this season's flown though. I don't know about you guys, but personally, it seemed like the holiday season started like yesterday, and now
Yeah.
Christmas in like 4 days. So.
Yeah. Well, I thought the thing that's like feels weird for me is how late we're getting out. You know, because usually like Christmas is like next like Tuesday or something like that.
It's this Tuesday.
Or yeah, you see.
Yeah.
It's soon. But yeah.
I feel like college applications was probably the biggest time that just like flew by.
Oh,
College-
jeez.
Yeah.
I procrastinated so heavily on those, and I think, I don't know, I only applied to 2 schools, but I still have yet to send in my transcripts.
Oh yeah. Oh, I got mine a few weeks ago. I still got an extra copy right here.
Yeah, all the good scholarships are probably taken. Probably out of luck, gonna have to pay full prices, but you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, I wish I had jumped on top of the scholarship game.
Oh,
I could
yeah.
have. I remember in the summer, I was like,
Oh, yes, I'm going to start right away, and I'm going to get all of them done. I'm going to make millions of dollars. And
I'm gonna give a million.
and now,
Yeah, I'll become a millionaire.
now I'm just sitting here. I'm like, dang, did I really spend $15 on Secret Santa?
I got Valvo for Secret Santa, so I'm just chilling.
What'd you get, Ben?
I got Oh yeah, I got a ton of M&Ms. Oh yeah, it's exactly what I asked for. I scribbled on a note card. I don't know, just give me $10 to $15 worth of M&Ms.
Yeah.
But on the scholarship thing, like Isaac, our buddy, he's basically got a full ride to UNLV.
Yeah, he's got
and
like
more,
15K.
like 15K, and it
Yeah.
only costs like $7,000.
I'm just glad you
Yeah.
can reapply for scholarships next year so that I can think to hop on top of it.
Yeah, I only applied to 2 schools, and the FAFSA stuff, I guess they just got that recently, so they're offering me financial aid, but I don't know how to log into the UNLV portal, so I don't know how much.
You call them. Can you help me find my account?
Yeah, same deal with UNR. I can't figure out how to log in that thing.
Yeah, so
Well, you
like,
know it's due February 1st, so I think you should have time.
yeah, and,
I do have time. I applied and everything. I don't know. I haven't logged in because one, I don't know how, and
yeah, so like they gave me like an ID thing, so I can, but you need a password too, and like Isaac said they're supposed to send you an email with it, but I didn't get an email for it, and then I contacted them, and I did the forgot password button thing, and they said they sent me it, but I don't know, just problems with that, and I also applied to USC, but I don't think I'm gonna get into there, but it was just worth a shot, but the results for that don't come out until January, so.
I applied to Harvard and sent in a MS Paint drawing as my application essay.
Me, my multi-million dollars made off of scholarships that you aren't gonna get.
Yeah, I always say, do you remember that chart Dr. C showed us a couple years ago of like the people who made it to Harvard? Like it was a graph that showed like their GPA on one axis and like their test scores on another axis.
Oh yeah.
And then there's that one outlier that was like in the bare bottom corner.
Yeah.
I say that's gonna be me. They're gonna think my MS Paint drawing is so ingenious they have to let me in.
Honestly, I've heard stories like that though. Like, all you just gotta do is like write them. Like, I remember someone was telling me I heard this college story how someone got rejected, so they just wrote another essay about why. Good thing you rejected me because I'm too good for you, and then they're like, okay, we'll let you in.
Well, shoot.
I hate you, and you're gonna be so mad.
You're gay if you turn me down. Oh shit! What do we do about this?
Wait, this podcast is banned for
Hold on.
homophobic comments.
Oh yeah, censor that word.
It's okay. We have nothing against any race or creed out there. You know, my brother's gay, so he gave me a pass.
You gave me a pass to call him gay.
And this is the next segment of our podcast where we do the stupidest laughs we can and then laugh about it for another 30 minutes.
I don't know if it's
Yeah, I don't know how we did that.
What do you think separates the essays from the Harvard students?
That's what I wonder about. And like when I was writing my essays and crap, like I did read ones from people who had got in, and it's like it's hard to distinguish. But what I thought also is like if I'm reading this, there's probably at least another good 1,000 kids that are reading this and trying to go in the same style. So I can't even do that.
Yeah, I think what ends up happening, even though it's like totally baseless and I have no evidence of this. I think everyone tries too hard to be out of the box, but I think because they're trying too hard, they lose focus of like proving themselves.
That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about that. Is like, because everywhere, anybody who you ask about college essays, they'll always say the same thing: stand out.
Yeah, it's and then it's like superficial uniqueness. You know, it's like you're trying to make yourself stand out. And I think the thing with that too is like the things that sort of like make everyone or us unique are the things we kind of think, oh, that's kind of dumb, or that's stupid, or that's the thing I do, but who cares? Well, that's what they want to know about, you know, or that's what you should say without putting in someone's face like I know some people do.
Yeah, I think conflicts I have with writing are I can either be too direct, or I can be like I can try to write it in like a very like I wouldn't say complex, but very like I guess trying to sound mature way.
Mm-hmm.
But if I
Intricate.
thank you. If I try too directly, it does get to the point effectively, but there's also a challenge between getting it developed. And you don't want to sound fluff, because if you make your point in the very first sentence and you kind of prove it, there's no really workaround to not sound repetitious.
That's what I think. Well, that's just writing in general now we're talking about, but like the thing where like you state your thesis and like you might have the best thesis in the world, but if you don't write a good essay or construct a narrative or something around that, it's just a thesis. It's not a convincing piece of.
Here's my philosophy: if I have to write an essay to apply, I'm not going there.
You should just say that.
Or if I
See ya.
no, I'll write down the lyrics of the super or the sorry to bother you rap scene. I'll just write that until I meet the character limit, and then say, "Let me in." And that'll be my essay.
Yeah, but
So all in all, watch a.
I would say the lyrics, but I'm not sure how that'd go down with YouTube. So
just keep on saying it. We'll just censor it the entire time.
yeah, I already. I'm not gonna say that. What if you don't?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Knight is gonna be pissed.
Yeah, this is Knight's act of revenge.
But that, I've always thought I was a bad writer, so I'm like, when I was writing my college essays and all that, I'm like, geez, I don't know how this is gonna go down. But at the same time, like, there's outlets out there that can help you improve that. But I think I was just too afraid or insecure, like, to ask my English teachers or anything like that. Because Miss Henderson, our English teacher, she has a sign-up list where you can actually just, like, one-on-one, like, conference and consult about your application and all that. And I love Miss Henderson, but I was just
Miss Henderson's cool, but she's
self-conscious.
also intimidating.
yeah, like, I feel like she's so nice and all that, but at
But-
the same time, I don't want her to ever think of me in the wrong way or like think like, oh man, this kid's not a good writer. Like, he's a,
Yeah. That might be too late for me considering my group history,
oh.
how bad they are.
Yeah, another
Except for
story.
his
I
last-
don't know if Angel wants to share, but he also got bullied by Miss Henderson
Oh, wait.
with the phone.
He's just the teacher's
Wait.
punching bag.
Jeff's punching back. No. Wait, what the phone? Wait, I don't remember this one.
When she was talking and then
Oh, yeah. So, typically in my classroom, my group members, which aren't Sayla and Dustin, but these other four.
Caleb.
Oh, did I say Dustin? Caleb and Sayla. I don't know why I said Dustin.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Fuck Dustin.
I hate
Oh my
Dustin.
god. No,
Dustin Mater is the worst. Sorry, continue.
No, I was about to continue with that. No, no. But usually these three, and they're always on their phone and having some like off-topic conversation, and it's really bad what they're talking about. They're either talking about something incredibly vulgar, or just incredibly stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And like they do it during like Miss Henderson's talking, and every now and then Miss Henderson's like, "Guys, stop talking. I'm explaining the final exam."
Yeah.
Like for example, and I just like listening to Miss Henderson. Her tangents are like just interesting to me.
Yeah, she's a movie gal, secretly, I think.
Yeah, not really secretly. She really loves Mel Brooks,
I'm a closet movie person.
but yeah, typically I try to avoid being associated with just this one half of my group. And the one time I had my phone out when my dad was calling me and I couldn't take his call because she was lecturing. She got really mad at me. She's like, "Take out your phone," because she's used to seeing a phone light off in her table. And this is my unlucky break.
Yeah, honestly, that's a lot of things. Like, I feel like, gotta be careful with your perception or teacher's perception or impressions. How people associate you with, like, or whatever. And that might have been your one time, but it won't seem like that to other people. I think that's just effects of interactions in general, or how people see your image.
Yeah.
My English teacher is always just overly happy about everything, it seems. It's kind of scary. And her name is Dr. Steele. It's like a total movie villain name, but it's
Yeah.
like Dr. Steele.
And she
Dr. Steele, but instead you get this scarily happy pregnant English teacher.
Our teacher's pretty happy too, or she's happy, but then at the same time, like.
There's always an underlying passive aggressiveness to her.
Yeah, mine too. It's like she's trying so hard to keep it up, but really she just wants to go, "Shut up!"
Hey, have you noticed how often Miss Henderson says that's a great question?
Yeah.
She never wants to make any of her students feel bad, but like, she always talks bad about other class periods.
Yeah, I have her for 0 period. Angel has her for 7th, and her other AP Lit class is 2nd period.
Yeah.
And every day she's always talking crap about the other 2 classes. And I don't know if she ever says anything about 0 period, but
Never about 0 period.
I guess we're the.
You guys should have been there for Anthony's presentation. Holy crap.
Yeah, I killed my presentation today in there.
I wish I got more opportunities to do those kind of things. It seems like now that I'm out of the real challenging classes, nobody really ever puts up any kind of presentation or group projects in general these days. Mm-hmm. So it's always a real treat anytime I get to stand up there and present at all, because I really haven't this year.
Yeah, I like presenting too. Like some people, like they absolutely can't stand it. Or
Oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I get nervous for the setup, but usually I'm pretty lucid in my thoughts when I'm up there and just speaking.
Yeah, I find you just gotta feel at home while you're up there. You know, you gotta
you can't show them you're afraid. You know.
Yeah, you can't think that they're like criticizing you harshly. You gotta imagine, well, they just wanna. Honestly, they're probably just thinking about lunch or whatever. But.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like a lot of time when I'm there, like no one's actually listening, so I can just say what I want to say, how I want to say it, and I do.
I don't know about you, but I've had generally pretty good impressions with these things. So sometimes it actually seemed like people wanted to see what I had to say, which was it always made me want to be up there just that much more.
Yeah, that's why I kind of wish I did a seminar and all that.
I feel like it's a good outlet to talk about whatever you want to talk about and not be worried about any sort of setup because it's freeform.
Mm-hmm. I did actually take a capstone class in junior high, my 8th grade year, and that one was more like I guess science related. And at the end of the year, basically we just had to give like a 30 to 40 minute presentation on something, this big APA essay and all that crap. But yeah, you could just do it on whatever you wanted. I did mine on fish. But yeah, presenting is cool, and I always ask my teacher if I can make a video, and so I usually like to make a companion piece.
Did I tell you about my English end of the year project last year?
No, what happened?
So basically, we had to do a project discussing a societal issue and how we could possibly solve it.
I think I remember a little bit.
And yeah, Seabass was in my class, so I was in his group, and I was like, okay, what can we make out of this? And then everybody in the group is like, removing the stigma on marijuana.
Oh yeah, I remember that happened my freshman year.
And
I'm sorry.
I wanted to do something a little more tame, but that's what we got. And then I ended up doing all the work anyway on a issue that I didn't. And then the presentation was literally probably a solid minute of like the 7 minutes we were allowed. Seabass was just playing this song, rapping about weed and like
he's rapping.
He's going with it in his raspy voice. So that was a solid minute. We finally had to stop him. Yeah, we got a D on that. Anyway, what were you saying?
I think like the big difference between Zone and Magnet is like I've always been saying, like you either get to be overwhelmed or underwhelmed.
Yeah, I wish there was an in between, honestly, and maybe it would be if we had just gone to
Zoned and into AP.
A normal school in the accelerated classes there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way I see it is AMSAT would be like the hard level, like break your nuts level of work, and honestly, it was too much for me to handle. Clearly,
yeah.
Regular classes, I took one of those. I took regular physics last year, and I felt so ahead of it, but it was kind of nice because it was real easy.
That's how I feel this year. So I'm AP Calc, but AB. So like the AB and BC thing is kind of like Calc 1, Calc 2. And I was in pre-Calc BC, which basically prepares you for Calc 2 and all that. But I went into AB, and so now I'm just a breeze. Like, I took my exam today, got 102%, while half my class is failing.
Yeah. I would always look at the average scores. And not to sound like egotistical or too prideful, but like, it would be like in the low 70s. I'm like, I have like a 90.
Yeah,
whatever.
the last test we had before, like, it was 68% was the average.
Yeah, and I'd be like, what the hell? And like, I just like every now and then, in the middle of like us just doing accelerated math, I'll just look at the classroom and they're just like dicking around their laptops or whatever.
That's the thing that bothers me when people complain about their bad grades or whatever, but then you see their work ethic or how they go about it, and they're not actually, they don't want to do good. It's like a lot of times like people. I like to exercise and say hello to other people. They come up to me and they want to know what I did because I used to be a little bit chubby, but it's really simple and everyone knows the answer. You just gotta eat better and exercise, but then they don't do that and they're still like unhappy or whatever. But sorry for getting on a tangent on that, but the work ethic and grades and all that, I think.
Honestly, you've probably had one of the most dramatic shape-ups I've ever seen. Like, it's...
Yeah, we'll put a picture in there, and you can see some differences, but...
Yeah, I don't
how big my cock has gotten in, like, the last 3 years.
It's like, I never really noticed, because I see you on a regular basis, but then you look at old pictures, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, people from middle school, I run into them, and they don't recognize me, or they think I'm a stranger.
Yeah.
But yeah, school is that.
Yeah. You think people in college, they just play the school game too well, or they're just actually like smart? I think
That's what I'm afraid for college. So the thing about the grades and all that, like honestly, grades aren't a way to tell, I guess, how intelligent you are, just how good you can, like you say, play the school game and all that, and in my case, how lucky you are. Honestly, I don't know how I got all A's and all that. But this year, I'm not that good. But yeah, I don't know how it is in college. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Tune in next year in our 100th episode.
Yeah, our 100th episode, our million subscriber special.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You kidding me? You think we'll surpass PewDiePie by next year?
Yeah, according to tonight, we're already on the.
We're on track.
Yeah.
We're on track.
Night. He's so worried about everything. He's got this big schedule planned out. He's like, no, do split episodes and whatever. Well, Ben in one episode.
Yeah, he's probably getting triggered if he's listening to this right now. And, we have no structure at all.
Yeah.
Right? We're just
Here, I got him. This message is for Night. Anybody who's listening to this, stop listening to this. This message is for Night right now. Set your timer for like 15 seconds.
Yeah, I'll put a skip thing to when Ben's done.
All right, Night. Listen here. You gotta. You're too uptight about literally everything, pal. When really your podcast, it was entertaining, but it wasn't world class. And you know why? Your commentary is subpar, and I don't like you. You're a loser.
Keep it in.
All right,
keep it in.
regular audience, keep going.
Yeah. All right.
How are we gonna manage that transition from talking about night to just?
I guess we'll find out. Tune in
for. Stay till the end for hilarious bloopers.
Okay, so we've been riffing for a while, and we're going to end with our last segment, which is creative time, which I don't know if you guys listened to the last one, but basically this is just where Knight and I would bounce off ideas about stories or films or shorts or whatever, but I guess I'll start. You guys could think of a story thing, but honestly, I've had this thing in my head for a while, and it's really simple, actually. It's just a little autobiographical, but I just want to have a thing about I guess we'll call it me in this situation, honor band auditions and things go awry in this situation. But I have these sequences planned out, or at least things where New World Symphony is playing in the background, but Largo, which is the ballad or lyrical movement, and yeah, it's just like it starts out with me and my day and showing a normal day. And during that, I meet someone, but you just brush it off. And the honor band edition is that night. And school ends. I'm ready. I'm ready to get everything ready at my auditions in like 2 hours or 3 hours. When I don't have my music, so I go to my car, and I'm about to drive home. But I left my lights on, so my car's dead, and so I'm basically stranded. But then that person I met earlier in the short, she offers to help me. But then in the process, things go awry in there and all that. But yeah, you probably just fell asleep right there. But you guys have anything to add to creative time? Things in your head?
Creative time. I don't know. I was interrupted before I got to this segment last time, so probably listen to it tonight when I get home. Anyway, like just bounce off a story you came up with, or
whatever. I mean, Knight and I are still trying to figure out what this creative time thing is, and he's probably going to get the most triggered from this because creative time is his favorite section, and it's only going to be like 9 minutes long.
It's all right. We can use that intermission time as
part two video.
Yeah, where Knights can.
This is a pretty rolling conversation. We still have a bunch.
Yeah, I thought it'd be difficult
with just sitting here talking at stuff. I guess once you get going, it's not too bad. But I digress. What about a film idea where somebody starts off, decent life, decent childhood, all that, then they just go down the complete wrong path. Life is absolute at the bottom, and then something brings them immediately to the top, and then they die.
Ben's autobiography. Directed by Ben, in all caps, no last name, just Ben.
And it's all just like...
That's the name of that's the title of the movie, too. It's directed by Ben.
It's like Ben-Hur, but they just take out the... It's Ben.
It's all just iPhone footage that I recorded myself, and you can see me walking to the camera after the shot's done to turn it off.
Yeah, it's not even edited. They're just put scene after scene.
You die.
I die, and then I'm like, oh,
you get up, you cut it, and then it cuts.
Or what about a rags to riches story, but as soon as they reach riches, they die?
The same thing, right?
I think Ben has a recurring theme already set up.
It's like a foster connection. The human experience is pretty universal. And there's only kind of a set amount of things you can.
There's only so many stories you can tell, and I think that the thing about storytelling is it's just the way you tell it.
I have the toughest time with creativity and that kind of thing, because
Yeah.
I feel like anything I can think of has already been done before. You know?
Yeah, that's what I think about too, and like that's what I was saying, kind of like our college essay thing, like when I was reading the thing, it's like, all right, these people got in by being unique this way, but now 1,000 other kids are kind of going to be unique that way, so it's not unique anymore.
I find it easier when coming up with this stuff to work backwards. Make something that doesn't necessarily make sense at first, but if you can come up with...
but within the process,
you can make up a story behind it and work that backwards into your story.
I like that, actually. That's a...
Like, I was thinking about it. What if you took... Like, what was that one movie we watched with the guys living... The guys
The
that
Endless?
looked identically?
The Endless?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then the spider lady at the end.
No, that's Enemy.
Oh, yeah, Enemy.
Enemy?
Yeah.
What if you just said, okay, this woman's going to turn into a giant spider at the end, and then you worked the story, like, backwards. You made up a story of how it would end up to that point.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about stuff like that.
Yeah, like, that's again, kind of tying it back about essays and all that, the thesis thing. He had a really cool thesis and a good punchline, but he didn't have a narrative around that or in the beginning, but they kind of form a story, which is interesting. Interesting way to look. I like that, Ben.
You think that's kind of how they make movies based on subtext? If someone has a subtext completely in mind, do you think they just come up with the message and then build a story around that to represent it, or just
Well, see, I think it depends because it depends on, I guess, how much obvious they want to make that metaphor. Like a movie, I don't know if you guys seen it. It came out last year. It's called Mother with exclamation point by Darren Aronofsky. But that one, there's a lot of subtext and a lot of I guess criticism, metaphors, symbols, but it's so jumbled, and I think that's part of the point because he only wrote it in a week. But there it's almost, it beats you on top of the head with it, not in an artistic way, which I think a movie sort of like Sorry to Bother You does.
Yeah.
Where as much as it is commercial, it's still sort of a form of art, I guess you could say, and that's the thing about stories. I guess you gotta find a way to tell something worth telling in a way that people will listen. Like, I think that's what the government. I think it's important that we learn that stuff, and I think I should care more, but I just don't, just because of the way it is.
Yeah. Thinking kind of like a tangent, but something that's always on my mind is how ignorant I'm being right now. Like, you always see these things on the internet where it's the average person thinks they're above average. Mm-hmm. And because you know that, you kind of want to assume that you're wrong, but you also have this inner sense of yourself where you're maybe I'm right in this. And it's some parts.
Yeah, what I think about it, everyone thinks they're the main character of their own movie, you know.
Yeah, I think everyone thinks they're self-aware, but really we're kind of not.
Oh yes,
we're just extras in other people's movie.
Yeah, and on that, it's or I guess. Now I'm talking about society and culture in general, but I guess this sort of self-awareness, and almost everyone wants to be I guess in a party or whatever, the people that would be man, this is so dumb, and then that's how they kind of bond. But now I feel like, at least now, as teenagers, I feel like everyone's like that, you know, and everyone wants to be like, wow, this is what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I feel like
what do you mean about like the
say
just life in general, like
just a fun life and
but I guess to tie it back to what we said before, like you said in your classes about presentations and how no one takes it seriously. Well, now even in our AP Lit classes, you were talking about how some presentations were.
Yeah, they're kind of very. It's very general and very literal, and I feel like they didn't have a good grasp on their stories when there could have been so much more. Because like they're talking about like a really fantastic short story of Battle Royal. And it's pretty much paralleling it's paralleling the life of just like a black man who's like who's underneath all these impressions and tries to escape from his own identity, but at the same time in order to gain success he has to he's in the process of being exploited, and he tries to go against it, but he also hates himself at the same time for just going along with it. And like one of the scenes, it talked about how he's observing a stripper, and it goes into great detail about her body parts, and like while like the group that was presenting were like the kind of level to only like snicker around when they mentioned like it's a nipple,
very very surface level stuff.
Yeah, very.
And that's another thing. Everyone wants to be. I personally think everyone wants to be too funny sometimes. You know, like they never want to.
No one. I sound like an old person saying this, but like sometimes you just want to sit back and appreciate something, and you just can't get kind of crabby when people just don't take it as seriously as you do. But it also be kind of immature to expect that from everybody.
Yeah,
so I guess we're mature on both levels.
I guess that's life in general, and trying to find the balance between passion and fanaticism. I guess you could call it. You know.
Yeah.
But now, just to get a little self-awareness, you know, I'm kind of criticizing people, but now, in this sort of sense, we are those people. You know, we're the ones in the corner talking about
like I was saying, like with the thing with like I try to be self-aware of my self-awareness, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. Like if I do something that's a bad habit, I'm like, how does this kind of make a representation of myself, and I try to think outside of that. But in the end, it just kind of all closed down like I'm still only 17, and maybe this is just me being a dumb teenager.
Yeah, that's like you're like what you say, like you're trying to be self-aware of what you're doing, but in the process of doing that, you're sort of like you're trying to manufacture your own image, and when you do that, everyone can tell when it's not. Yeah, it's just whatever.
It's like if you try to make a profound thought, but then you realize.
Wait a minute, I'm dumb.
You can't try. You just gotta do.
You just gotta make a profound thought, but whenever you try to think,
it's gotta come naturally, and whatever happens, you know.
Well, I guess to conclude today, we like Spider-Man.
We're dumb teenagers.
I love Spider-Man.
Knight is a horrible person.
Fuck Knight.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
And I think I've tied a story together about Ben. You wanted a rags to riches thing. We're talking about society and social thing.
I don't want a rags to riches. That's cliche.
Ben wants a riches to rags to riches.
Riches rags to death. Yeah, that's right.
There we go.
Okay.
he's like your home has been foreclosed.
Oh, this reminds me of this movie I actually saw recently called A Serious Man, where basically any bad thing just happens to him for no reason, and kind of out of his indifference, bad things happen to him. But yeah, okay, so we'll have it. This guy, he thinks he's better than he is. You know, he has this sort of thing in life, but something happens to him. He gets fired. He gets dumped. He gets fat. But and in this sort of isolation or whatever, maybe he finds something that no one's noticed for. Maybe no one has ever made mango juice by Arizona right here, and he does this, and he starts his own company, and he makes it to the top. But at the top, he finds out that he builds the self-awareness. He understands, there's other people that are making mango juices out there, and in that process he's trying. He's not coming from the pure sort of a need to do something now, and he's just doing it to be in spite of the other companies, and that's what ultimately his downfall, and he dies.
It's fucking dies.
The end. Thanks for listening today, guys.
Oh wait, here's. You know what? Whatever. I was gonna do something. But
Go for it.
I was gonna. Something I think about quite frequently. I'm sure many other people have also thought of this, but there's this one kind of plot I always think of. What if, like, you imagine you like see an entire life play out, and then right as death approaches, the guy just wakes up to another day of his life. You know, it's like your entire life is just a dream. Oh. And then you wake up the next. Do you ever like think about that?
I think of it in a similar way, but I've always thought, like, what if I've died and now I'm in the afterlife?
Yeah.
But the afterlife is just
boring.
Just a dream of your life, and you're kind of just reliving.
I was off.
Reliving.
I was thinking, like, some people get bored with just a life on here, and then you ever wonder, like, if there's anything out there, well, what keeps them so intrigued for eternity?
Yeah, I think this just brings up an interesting point about humans in general, and how we sort of, there's something like a very attractive and elusive about the unknown and the mystery, but at the same time, a lot of times maybe we're putting more to it than
maybe there's just nothing, right? Like, I've always been fascinated by space and all that, but I'm thinking, you know, what if it sucks? What if there's nothing out there? What if you just, like, what's beyond the black hole? Is there a white hole that leads to another plane of existence? And then you're like, no, you just die, dude. There's nothing to it.
But at the same time, what if WALL-E is happening right now? In, like, another galaxy.
What if we're actually a really microscopic civilization on one of WALL-E's trash tubes?
Horror, here's a who? Like,
yeah. Well, yeah.
WALL-E, here's a how.
All right. Well, I feel like we really hit something right there at the end. Something maybe worth revisiting or something.
Something thought-provoking that will hopefully drown out all the other crap that happened earlier in this discussion.
But our time is up right now, and if anyone is listening to right here, I just want a round of applause for bearing with us for all this time. And tune in next week and see if we got anything else.
I would also like to thank our sponsors, Blue Apron, for...
You're going to get flack for that now?
Yeah.